Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. I just wanted to share a quick lasagna recipe. I adapted it from Natasha's Kitchen's lasagna recipe, but I made it vegan. I used an egg in the ricotta cheese, but obviously if you take the egg out, it'll be vegan. I'll list all the ingredients in the description box, but it's pretty simple to make. Basically, if you've seen her recipe before, you could just copy it. I just used these non-dairy ingredients and the plant-based meat instead of the ground beef. And just continue watching and you'll see how I put it all together. Okay, so here's where I kind of switch things up, besides the ground beef, of course. I use, there's a vegan ricotta by Kite Hill, but I also use Toffuti sour cream. And they were a lot more watery than regular ricotta. So I I doubled the recipe, or I'm a couple ounces over what she would recommend to get a decent consistency, to manipulate, not manipulate, what's the call, to copy the ricotta cheese texture. But honestly, these things are so creamy that they are very similar in consistency. So you could get away with just following the recipe as is, just switching out those products, the ricotta for the Toffuti and the Kite Hill. And I've done this with and without egg, so of course that's why I said the egg is optional. You'll still get the same creaminess, and it does stick better with the egg. It makes it a lot easier to work with, but again, it's not necessary. If you put a couple of tablespoons of water, that'll help it loosen up so that you can spread it. But other than that, this is a great substitute to make this more plant-based or dairy-free. And I just want to add that there's a lot of vegan cheese out there, but the ones that I've been using, or the ones I use in this recipe, taste very similar to mozzarella, and even the tofu sour cream is pretty similar in flavor. I wouldn't recommend some of the cheeses out there; they taste plasticky, but these ones are pretty flavorful, and they broil pretty well. I think I said earlier this is not as thick as ricotta. I think it's more thick. It's thicker than ricotta because I had a really difficult time spreading this when assembling the lasagna. But it melts in a lot more watery than actual ricotta cheese. So there is little to no structure here when it gets cooked. The creaminess is mixed really well with the pasta, but there is very little structure. It just kind of oozes into everything in a way that the normal ricotta cheese wouldn't. So just keep that in mind. And I highly recommend Natasha's Kitchen if you want to get the original recipe. I mean, honestly, I just copied it, so I'm not taking any credit for creating this at all. I just substituted it in a way that appealed to my taste buds and my family's. And I know some plant-based lasagnas out there are literally just that. It's lasagnas with vegetables and broccoli and what have you. And when I want lasagna, I want as similar to lasagna if I'm not making the real thing. So I figured I'd show anyone who has the same taste as me, who wants to try something a little different but doesn't really. So this is vegan-ish. And clearly I have no rhyme or reason to how I assembled it, because in one slide I did the ricotta first and now I'm doing the ricotta second. So this recipe is really forgiving and actually comes together really quickly. So if you're a lazy cook like me, this should be really easy to put together. I would recommend doing the ricotta first though. It was a lot easier to spread. Now the cheese goes wherever the ricotta goes. Here I'm just showing you that I'm putting toothpick over the lasagna to keep the cheese from sticking to the aluminum foil. Pretty much what Natasha did in her video. But I would say this is optional. I didn't really find that the cheese stuck to the aluminum foil the way regular mozzarella would have. So I wouldn't say this is necessary. I would still cover it, just the toothpick is probably extra. And once it's done baking, you just take off the aluminum foil and you put it to broil for 5 to 10 minutes to get the cheese caramelized. Though it's not real mozzarella, so you're not going to get that super golden top. It will get a little bit melted and a bit caramelized. It's like a very, very watered down version of mozzarella in terms of the gooiness and the melty. But it does get a little melty and somewhat caramelized. So it's worth the effort. There you go. That's my vegan lasagna, and this is easily a 2-day meal, even lunch and dinner. So thanks for watching.